Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kicker. You already know it's your host, Bando. We are back to talk about ADESANYA versus IMAVOV. It didn't go as planned for my predictions, and it also just did not go as planned for Israel ADESANYA. So let's get into the review. Let's recap it. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Okay, so like I said, welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. It's your host, Bando. We are going through the review for IMAVOV versus ADESANYA. IMAVOV got it done in an amazing fashion too. Something I would not have predicted, something I did not expect, something that totally caught me off guard, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Now, I didn't get to see the full fight because I was at work. It was one of those cards where, you know, your boy gotta work, and didn't really get to see the full card or anything like that. But I turned on ESPN, and as soon as I turned on ESPN, it was IMAVOV getting his post-fight talks and speech and interview and everything like that. So it yeah, it caught me off guard. It really did. Now, it is one of those things where you sit back and you look at it like a lot of fighters on their downfall, it ends up going in, sometimes it ends up going in threes, right? So Izzy's downfall, a lot of people could say it started with Alex, but you're more of just relating it to the streak right now. So first loss was Sean. He gets dropped by Sean Strickland and beat in a decision by Sean Strickland. Then he moves on to fight Dricus du Plessis and gets submitted. Never been submitted before, ends up getting submitted by Dricus du Plessis. Moving on to Nasruddin Imavov, and the trifecta hits and he gets knocked out. Israel Adesanya is 0-3 in his last three, and back probably 3 to 5 years ago, no one would have ever predicted or even thought this would be a thing, right? Izzy seemed like he was unbeatable. Seemed like until Alex, there was nobody in that division that was going to bring anything interesting to him. You know, he really seemed untouchable. Even at moments where he was talking about retiring himself because he already, you know, he did everything that he needed to do. His legacy is cemented. I can't lie about that. His legacy is cemented. He did everything he did. He beat Robert Whittaker twice. Beat Yoel Romero, although it was a very boring fight. He still beat Yoel Romero. Beat Paulo Costa. Beat Jared Cannonier. Beat Derek Brunson. The list goes on. The man, and then obviously being the only guy in the UFC that has gotten a win, not only just a win, but a finish over Alex Pereira. You know, his legacy speaks for itself. So this fight really doesn't take away from the legacy, but now you sit back and you say, what's gonna happen for Israel Adesanya? What's next? He had a great first round. You know, but Imavov caught him. It's just one of those things. That's the fight game. That is this sport. If you get caught, good night. That's how it goes. That's just how it goes, right? He got clipped, ends up going, and he didn't go fully out. All 4 of his losses, Mark Goddard was the ref. 3 of those, obviously, Izzy seemed like it was like a, or actually no, 2 of those. I mean, 2 of them seemed like it was like an early stoppage. It wasn't though. It wasn't. I mean, the way he fell from just getting hit with the right hand, if he was able to stay up, maybe, but he wasn't able to stay up. He went down. Imavov caught him with another nasty follow-up shot. It is what it is. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Imavov looked sharp. He tried to mix up the game like I said that he needed to do if he wanted to win. He tried to mix up the game. Izzy had some good takedown defense. He was landing some great leg kicks. He was throwing a jab. He was doing all the things that I felt Izzy needed to do to win. Imavov came through right after that eye poke. And now, I'm not going to say the eye poke had anything to do with it, right? Because Izzy could have took the 5 minutes if he wanted to, if it was an actual problem. But he treated it as if it wasn't a problem. Switches stance, gets caught with a nasty right hand. I just think that it's perfect timing, perfect punch, and in the perfect spot. What can you do? You know what I'm saying? You win some, you lose some. What can you do? That's why I love MMA, though. That's why I love MMA. I love UFC. I love watching these kinds of fights because in boxing, once that O goes for guys, it's almost like the career has ended. Like that O was everything. That O meant more than the championship itself. In MMA, it doesn't. It doesn't. A lot of people are riding with their O's still, right? You got a lot of undefeated fighters still in the UFC, but people fall. People fall, and that's just how it goes. You can go on big streaks, but people fall. And that's what happened to Israel Adesanya on Saturday. From looking at the highlights of MVP versus Sharabullet Magomedov, it just did not seem like it was what anybody would have expected, what anybody really wanted. I mean, it seemed like a lot of punches were being thrown, but a lot of misses were happening. Obviously, Michael Venom Page is a fantastic counter striker. He's able to get in and out, make you miss, make you pay, make you look stupid. He does that a lot. Just seems like the Bullet was chasing for stuff. Anytime you chase for stuff against somebody like Michael Venom Page, you're going to end up having to pay. Now, Michael Venom Page in Bellator was a finisher, right? He hasn't gotten nothing done in the UFC yet, but he was a finisher in Bellator. I want to see that side of MVP come out, right? It's cool to see the flashing stuff, but honestly, if there's no finish to it, it's just a boring fight of him bouncing around, tapping in and out. You know, he's good. He's great at his own style. Like, his style is his style, and he's fantastic at it, right? So I'm not taking anything away from it. But if he does not get a finish, watching him for 3 rounds or watching him for 5 rounds, if he ends up getting like a main event or something like that, it's going to be boring. It's going to be boring if he doesn't get a finish or land some sick shots that are wobbling the guy and, you know, making people like really like, oh shit, you know. The Bullet did what he does, though. Like, you know, he did. It's almost like he just fought with the exact same game plan he fights with in every fight. It's just to throw, kickbox, and hope to land some shit. Looked like he was trying to mix up the takedowns a little bit as well, but he couldn't figure out MVP. The movement of MVP was what the biggest problem was in that fight. But I thought it was going to be exciting. MMA fans thought it was going to be exciting. It wasn't that exciting, but that's what you have to expect. Sometimes a striking battle between 2 good strikers is going to be a point fight and it's going to be boring as shit, or you're going to have one guy chasing while the other guy is dancing. You know what I mean? That's striking. My boy Vinicius Oliveira stayed undefeated, so I got one prediction right. No, my parlays were trash, if I'm being quite frank. To no surprise, the predictions were not good. I think I'm not going to give any predictions anymore, like saying, hey, this is who's going to win. I'm just going to break down the shit and be like, if this happens, this happens, this happens, that happens. Because I have been getting shit wrong like crazy, and you ain't going to get no views if you can't get shit right. So, either way, Vinicius Oliveira got the win against Said Nurmagomedov. Looked like he mixed the game in well, so good for that. Sergey Pavlovich beat Jairzinho Rosenstruik in what sounds like an extremely boring heavyweight matchup. Seemed like it was an extremely boring heavyweight matchup. And I'm actually going to do another episode on the entire fate of the heavyweight division as a whole right now, because it is in an extremely weird place. And you know, that could be a pretty long discussion to talk about. So I'm going to do that in another episode. But yeah, Pavlovich didn't do what I thought Pavlovich was going to do if he ended up winning. You know what I mean? Like, decision win, cool, but I thought there would have been a lot of damage. He would have hurt him. I mean, he was hurting him and then just taking him down. And that was pissing me off because I had him on the parlay for KO. So, yeah, you know, I was sick. But it be what it be. He got the win, so he's back in the win column. He needed the win regardless. Right, but you got to make a statement, man. You got to make a statement when you're on 0-2. You got to come back and make something. And it was a good win. It just wasn't nothing impressive to me. You know, I think he's got a lot of skill in his hands, but if he doesn't get the knockout, it's kind of just hope that he can smother you. Kind of reminds me of almost like a Sergey Spivak-ish type of style. Maybe that should be a fight that should happen next or some shit. I don't know. Fuck. Heavyweight division is looking real strange for 2025. And IMAVOV was not the only man with a knockout. I have to highlight the other knockout with Terrence McKinney. Got himself back in the win column. Usually is on the opposite end of a knockout. He was on the good side. He got the knockout win. Good for him. What's next? Who knows? He's in one of the most difficult divisions in all of MMA and all of combat sports. So it's just take it day by day. Take the fights that they offer you. He got a very winnable fight for this weekend. Hopefully the next one is winnable, but also still challenging. I say you put him in there with somebody who's not known to have a ton of knockout power if you do want to continue to get Terrence McKinney some wins. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, he's in the toughest division. That lightweight division is stacked. It's hard to move up in the ranks and do anything in that division. There's always somebody who's better. It seems that just seems like the way there's always somebody who's better in the lightweight division, and that's why it's so damn difficult. These guys are so good, continuously getting better. It's hard to keep up, really is. But overall for the card, C minus, C plus-ish, C. It was pretty cheeks from what I ended up reading about, what I ended up seeing with the highlights. Like I said, I was at work. I couldn't see the whole card, but it did not seem like it was a very exciting card or one that I hurt to miss or anything like that. So it'll be what it be. But that's it for my recap and review. I appreciate you guys for watching. As always, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And hopefully soon we're gonna be doing some merch, because boy got a new logo. We got a couple new logos, different stuff, trying to make some stuff happen in 2025. So maybe we'll come through with some merch. But overall, I appreciate you guys for watching as always, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando is out.